gentlemen, welcome to the Ross Patterson Revolution!
On tonight's episode, in light of what happened last night in Manchester, England, I'm going to start off with the sponsors real quick, kind of breeze through them, and I hope you forgive me for it. StraightRazors.com. At night she cries while he rides his steed. StrikeForceEnergy.com. You can use the promo code REVOLUTION for 20% off at StraightRazors.com and StrikeForceEnergy.com. Instead, tonight, I'd like to talk about what happened and the 22 mostly children who died in Manchester, England. I see a common theme that keeps popping up after one of these events happens, and it's I'm sending thoughts and prayers. Every single person is sending fucking thoughts and prayers. That's not good enough anymore. It's just not. We're sending thoughts and prayers seemingly every 2 weeks to a different country, a different city, all for these bullshit attacks. Here was the last thoughts and prayers. April 7th, 2017, a man driving a hijacked beer truck who hit pedestrians in Stockholm, killing 4 people. Thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers, March 22nd, 2017, a man drives a rented SUV into pedestrians at London's Westminster Bridge, killing 4 people. The attacker then stabbed a police officer to death. Thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers. December 19th, 2016, a hijacked truck plows through Christmas market in Berlin, killing 12. Yet another thoughts and prayers. July 14th, 2016, a truck driver targets Bastille Day revelers in Nice, France, killing 86. Thoughts and prayers. March 22nd, 2016, suicide attacks at the Brussels airport and subway kill 32 and injure hundreds. Thoughts and prayers. November 13th, 2015, extremists attack the Bataclan concert hall and other sites in Paris, killing 130. Thoughts and prayers. Nothing has changed. I'm personally sick and tired of people sending thoughts and prayers. We need to do better than that. And it starts with at home. This fucking travel ban that was proposed by our president that a couple district courts have now blocked is one way to help stop sending thoughts and prayers. We need to actually have some action behind these thoughts and prayers in order for anything to get done. And right now, it seems just because of what party you're on, you'd rather just send thoughts and prayers than actually do anything about the actual problem that we're trying to confront. Look, Jables, we have a child. Mm-hmm. Chances are, if he was of age and he wanted to go see the Ariana Grande concert last night, we would have taken him. Would have taken him to the show. There was a lot of kids there. The first person who died last night, she was 8 years old. This goes beyond, when you attack an Ariana Grande concert, you're targeting kids. A select group of demographic that is mainly kids, mm-hmm. Children, parents taking their children. This isn't a heavy metal concert. This isn't, with the sole intent of killing as many kids as you possibly can. And most of it is over some bullshit religion that we can't see, no one's ever seen.
What's the message with this one? Like, just literally watch your back?
That's it.
We'll go anywhere?
That's it. ISIS has claimed responsibility.
Okay.
And saying that there's more to come, more death to the world, because you don't believe in the same ideals as we believe in. Which is absolutely fucking crazy to me. And on the American side, look, I mean, you see people changing their Facebook posts. You see people putting up a British flag over their picture. Mm-hmm. And it seems like there's a new country over everybody's picture every 2 weeks. And it's like, that's enough. But when it comes time to actually enact and do things that would actually prevent these types of attacks from happening, nothing is ever done. And the news doesn't want to talk about it anymore, unless they have to, unless they absolutely fucking have to. When this happened yesterday, I was at the gym, and right before I left, I had saw like a brief thing on that ran across. I follow all the news sites on my Twitter feed. I saw a brief thing run across from Fox News. And again, I'm not saying any of the news organizations are right. They're all fucking slanted one way or the other. But report the actual news. I saw a crawl that went across my thing about, Fox News saying there was an explosion in Manchester outside the Ariana Grande concert, but they don't know anything or what's going on. They were sending people in. Whereas CNN and the rest of MSNBC, we're talking about the Trump-Russia probe that's going on and who's going to testify against who, which I get that's what your ratings are going for anymore, but there's got to be some instances where you're actually reporting the news and it's not about which way you're slanting it. CNN, when I got home, it was a good hour and a half, about a good 90 minutes before CNN even picked up this story. And then this morning, all they did was focus on, again, this Trump-Russia probe, which I could give a baker's fuck about the goddamn probe. The election's over. It's been over for a long time. I don't care. And truthfully, if there is any collusion with Russia or what secrets we're giving Russia, I think we should collude with all of them. I think we should get together with Russia. I think we should get together with China. And I think
but it's about the election, right?
No, this is about everything overall going forward and how we see. Even the cover of Time magazine has, the Church of Russia forming into the White House now, and it's like it's not about sharing. We should be sharing secrets with each other. We should be trying to fight terrorism together because we can't do this on our own. We've got to have the help of other countries. And we've got to start sharing what we know and information about what we know about what's happening around the world in order to stop this. Otherwise, this is just going to keep going on over and over again. And I feel like I'm at the point where it's like, if you don't report this on the news and you don't inform people and let them know what's happening, then you're going to get caught up in something like this. Because you're uninformed about what's happening around the world and what's happening in these other cities.
So we talked about the other night that we like to listen to and watch all the different channels because it's the only way to get one
real
kind
answer.
of picture because, so in the morning I listen to the New York Times podcast, but then I'll also watch Fox, and you have to see what all the different sides are to get the right.
Sure, because you're not getting the right story out of any of them.
You're getting half of the story.
Yeah.
So you're getting a one-sided account, right? So New York Times, they did the whole show on the investigation into Flynn, right?
Sure.
The Flynn investigation, whatever, about the election and like Russia's whatever involvement in that. And then at the very end, they said, attack in Britain treated as a terrorist attack.
Yeah.
Good day.
Yeah. Treated as a terrorist attack.
See you tomorrow. But that literally, and I said out loud, I was like, oh my God. Like, I thought they were going to at least go into it a little bit. No,
that's it. And
treated as a terrorist attack. How else are you supposed to treat it?
Yeah.
What else is it? Just some crazy person?
Well, they don't want to say it because then therefore they would be pushing somebody else's agenda, which, look, I don't think there's an agenda to push. Like, after all of the laundry list that I just read off at the top of the show, this is happening every 2 weeks. And then you forget about it. Like, even today, right now, we're live on air. As of this moment, World Turtle Day is trending number 2 on Twitter. There's not even Pray for Manchester is number 7. It's number 7. That's how much people don't care, or Twitter does. I don't know what their algorithm is about what's going on in the world, or if people are just numb to it at this point, where they're like, it happened again. We'll chalk it up and we'll try to get them next time. we'll try to get them next time.
So how does the travel ban stop stuff like that? Because
I think
in
you
all
have
these
to.
cases, though, not all of them traveled to do this. Like they were born and raised there, and ISIS got their internet hold on them there. So like, how does a travel ban? I want to know.
And a lot of people have asked me that today because I posted something on my Facebook.
At this point, how does that help?
Here's how I think a travel ban helps. One, you stop bringing people over to start having kids, having them born here, having homegrown terrorists.
So this is a long game.
Yes, long game. Because I don't think this is going to be fixed or corrected overnight.
Because
and I don't want to make it
so-
seem like that at all, because that's impossible.
Because ISIS is converting people via the internet.
Exactly. Now, right.
Just from where they're at.
Absolutely.
They're not traveling. Nobody has to travel anywhere. No one has to leave.
Exactly.
They're doing it without that. So
Sure.
Is it shutting down something like that?
Yes. And I think here's I think you have to treat this as a long game.
Okay.
First of all, by starting a travel ban, you stop bringing these fucking people from terrorist countries into your own country. So whatever they're going through in their own country and homelands, like, chances are they fucking hate it. Obviously, they're over here for another reason.
Right.
But that hatred still exists. So then it's passed on to their children that they're going to eventually have. Their children are going to grow up with one idea of America that probably isn't, it's the America that their parents know of and or hated when they came over from their other countries. Therefore, they're going to grow up with that. And you're essentially just raising terrorists in your own country. That's my personal belief on that.
Okay.
And with that being said, if you can stop that from happening by bringing them over, just putting a halt on it, me personally, I'd like to see like a 10-year halt on it. And look, we're banned as a people from going to certain countries as well. Can't go to North Korea. I can't go to Iran. There's countries that us as Americans can't go to because we're viewed as dangerous, or, the last American that was captured in North Korea was, he was a spy trying to take down the governments. Like, there's countries that Americans aren't allowed to go into either. Fuck, you can't even get into Canada as an American with a DUI.
Right.
Like, there's rules in every country about what you can and cannot do to get in their countries.
Mm-hmm.
I think enacting a travel ban is first. Then going through the list of people that are here that you let over from these other countries and doing thorough background checks and vetting them. Because there's a lot that you don't know what's going on. There's so many undocumented people in this country. You don't know who's being born. If you don't know who their parents are, you don't know who their children are.
Yeah.
So I think that's the only way to stop this trend from happening and try to contain what we do have here in America, because we're not a perfect country, nor is anybody else. But if we want to stop terrorism and terrorist acts, I think it starts here by not letting in other countries who harbor these feelings against Americans or this, West thinking or way of life and culture. And I think that's the only way to start it, is by that.
Okay.
You have other people who have other ideas and agendas. And look, as soon as
this point, I'm
ban,
just like, what is going to help? Like,
but as soon as this ban was enacted,
right.
There immediately was a hashtag Muslim ban. You're banning Muslims and Muslims. It's not. There's a bunch of religions in all these countries. The fact of the matter is there's terrorists in these countries.
Right.
So I'm not saying ban this certain one religion. I'm just saying stop it and prevent it from even happening. Then revisit it in 10 years. Make your borders safe, and then go back and revisit your policies in 10 years. But for the meantime, like, let's just stop letting in fucking people who we don't know why they're coming into this country.
Right.
Let's stop taking in refugees. The refugee thing. I don't understand that at all. I just don't.
Mm-hmm.
To me, there's no reason. Look, if you grow up in a culture like that and you have children over there, if it's a bad culture already, why are you bringing children into this world?
Well, you could ask that about even, low income people here too.
Exactly.
What are you doing?
But
I don't think people, think about that. But
but they should. And why is it our job as Americans or a country to care what they think? Like, I don't care what you think. I really don't.
Right.
And again, like, even going to the fucking Bahamas, for Christ's sakes, you get vetted with questions of what are you doing here in the country?
Right.
Why are you here? What's your purpose? What's your thing? I know some countries only let certain immigrants in who have a special skill set of jobs, who are doctors, scientists, things like that. Or
sponsored by somebody. Yeah.
That would be a good start, because you're not going to sponsor some fucking stranger,
right?
By letting in refugees, you don't know. All of them are undocumented. You have no fucking idea what their intentions are.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry for what's going on in their country and the civil wars and all that shit. Like Syria, they're going through a civil war right now, and it's like, oh, we need to help them during their civil war. United States had a civil war. No other outside country helped us in that. Figured shit out on our own. We got to the end of it, and then we decided to go on with our democracy and elect presidents and have elections and have a country. Every culture and country in the history of mankind has had a civil war at some point in their country to gain independence from whatever it is they're fighting for. So why is it our job to police the world? Why do we have to intervene? I don't understand it. And do
you know if Canada still does that sponsoring?
Canada's letting in all the refugees. So they just let in another 100,000. So they're saying, hey, Trump isn't taking them.
Sponsors or people are sponsoring?
No, I don't know what their list is, but they're letting in 100,000. And hey, good luck to you.
Yeah.
Let me know how that works out in a few years. But as news organizations need to start taking responsibility for this shit too, where again, like, report the news, report what's going on. CNN's trying to bury this. And if you're keeping score at home and we're just going down the news list, CNN's far right. I'm sorry, CNN's far left. Fox is far right. MSNBC, far right. Then you have the New York Times, far right. Washington Post.
Far left.
I'm sorry, far left.
Yeah, very left.
Very left. Washington Post, very left. The New York Post kind of leans rightish. But USA Today, Twitter, Facebook, all lean left. Unless you can just genuinely report the facts as they happen and as they come in, how do you call yourself a news organization? All of them across the board. The news is things that are important, that are going on in the world, not your own personal fucking opinions, beliefs, who won the election, who didn't win the election. So, as far as like the fake news and all that shit that's going on, everybody's fake news. Everyone should start taking responsibility for what's happening in the world.
Again, fake news is hard though, because it's not fake. It's just one side.
It's not real.
Right?
It's what you're
real, but it's only one side, and you're not showing the other side at all.
But they have these op-ed pieces, which are opinionated news pieces, and there's a reason why it's called op-ed. It's their own opinion.
I know.
All of these articles to me are written in someone else's opinion.
Right.
It's not about the facts anymore.
Right.
It's just, it fucking sucks, man. Watching this and seeing this unfold last night, it's crazy.
And also seeing it not be that big of a deal. Like, that's really hard. No. Like, to see it unfold, but kind of just as a blip at the end of the broadcast. You're just like, what? Okay, 22? What? Are you going to tell me more? Or like, what happened?
And again, World Turtle Day.
Yeah.
Is trending number 2 on Twitter.
They have a rough go, those turtles. I mean, every time I go to the gym, they're always doing some kind of turtle fundraiser. I'm not joking you.
Yeah.
So they've really got a rough time, those turtles.
Yeah.
According to everyone.
According to
gym.
the turtle police.
Every housewife at my gym really just is getting behind those turtles. There's either of like a 5K or a fucking fundraiser or.
Yeah. Look, the turtles are everywhere. The turtles are everywhere.
They're really, I don't know. It's like the whales back in the day. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Here I come.
Yeah.
Remember Save the Whales?
Who was the girl, the Hayden Panettiere, who jumped in the ocean trying to save the whales or the dolphins or whatever in Japan? Yeah.
I bet it was her.
It was her. It was her.
I'm going to look that up. It was for sure her.
Yeah.
Because she's changing.
Yeah, she's definitely changing
the world.
She's changing the world.
You know what I mean?
But you know what that pisses me off about all this is like, there's a lot of these cities in the world that I'd love to go to. I'd love to go back to Paris. I'd love to go back to London. I'd love to go to Berlin. I'd love to go. I don't feel safe. Like,
right.
It's just nothing to me feels safe anymore. Like an Ariana Grande
then
concert.
They won.
Exactly. And that's the thing. It's like,
they want you to think.
I know, but are they? Is the question. Like an Ariana Grande concert with kids.
I would never think, and I think we both do kind of in certain situations look around and be like, okay, is this something like I'll think if we're in a big crowd, I'll always think like, is this a Target? Like
that's
Disney
my first thought
on
now.
a fucking September, like when the school first gets out or something, you're like, is that a time?
Yeah,
that would be a time.
That's my first thought when I like now when I step out in the crowds or large environments, and it's like I feel myself like head on a swivel, looking around everywhere to be like, all right, cool.
Is this like some place? That
yeah.
They would think?
Do I know everybody here? Do I like? Does anybody seem suspicious?
Right.
That makes me sad. Like
right.
that I've turned into that because you're right, exactly what you said.
And I'm like the opposite of that.
The terrorists win.
Yeah.
And it's because you're kind of right, but to me with a child now, I feel different about it than single fucking 20s Ross would be like who fucking cares?
Yeah,
like,
definitely would never be like but that's what being young is right?
Yeah.
It's never gonna happen to me.
Single
and I'm
Ross would be like,
forever.
dude, tickets to London now are probably dirt cheap.
Totally.
I can go first class tomorrow.
Totally. I still have a little bit of that, but it's like leaving.
Yeah, it's gone.
Like I
it's
still have that non-paranoid, like just everything's gonna be fine thing.
Sure.
But they're slowly beating it out of me. So good for you guys.
I know. And it's funny, two of our best friends were over in Paris.
Having the time of their life.
Like just 2 days ago.
Yeah.
2 days ago, posting amazing pictures on Instagram.
The little espresso next to the biscotti. I mean.
And they were in London, 2 days before? Yeah. And like, they were like, oh my God, it's glorious.
Right.
This is the greatest city on the planet. And then this happens at an Ariana Grande concert.
Did you talk to him at all?
Yeah. Yeah,
okay.
I talked to him, and they'd missed it by just a couple days, and it was no big deal. Didn't really think about it. Like you hear these stories, but then it doesn't sink in until it happens to you.
I would be interested to know what it's like there
in Paris or in
what the press and the whole thing is there. I'm sure they're like.
Well, I mean, look, London elected a Muslim mayor. There's a Muslim mayor for the city of London. I don't know what he says about, this is yet another attack.
Well, yeah, British have always had a lot of Muslims.
Well, it's weird
for a long time.
Yeah, but it's strange to me. Like they voted for the Brexit, which was all about immigration. But you're right. They have a large Muslim community. So does
Indian. Yeah.
So does France now.
Yeah.
With all the immigrants in there, and I think about these things more than I used to say more than I care to admit, but now I'm admitting it, where I'm just like, I think about this shit a lot, and I think about it in again public places that I go to that I fucking never thought about this shit.
Right.
Taken to go to the mall to see Santa, all I kept thinking was, man, there's a lot of people in here. This would be a place to target.
That's horrible.
It is. But these are the thoughts that I have now where I'm like, man, I never, not in a million years would I think about shit like that. Never used to think about shit like that.
Right.
But after everything that's going on, it's my first thought when I go places and I'm like, Jesus, man, like it's almost gotten hard to enjoy things to the fullest extent because there's still that possibility in the back of your mind where you're like, is something going to happen? At least for me personally. I don't know about you.
It's getting there, but I'm like the last person to go there. But like, it's getting there.
Yeah, because
like it's definitely getting
that's
there
the way
for me.
It feels for me.
And that's huge. Yeah.
I somehow feel like oddly safer when I go through, because I go to a lot of like big concerts and big events and things like that, and like that Conor McGregor fight was like the last like massive event that I went to, and it was just like you're going through metal detectors and wands and all that shit. When I got in there, I felt safe.
Right.
I was like, all right, fuck, if somebody can get through that security system, like
they deserve it.
Yeah. So when I got into the thing, I was just like, I mean, and I'd went through like New York, as big of a city as it is, like they went through the steps of like, Jesus, man, I went through like 8 police officers before I got in that motherfucker. But I felt safe.
Well, New York,
I felt safe.
Yeah. If anyone like thinks about terrorism at every turn, I think it's New York.
Yeah. and now it's spilling over into everything. Like, fuck, ever since 9/11, obviously going on an airplane, fucking nightmare. Trying to get through all of that, and you're down to like 2-ounce bottles of fucking things, and you could shave this toothbrush down, or all the shit they're pulling out of your bag these days, and it's like, god damn, that last collusion between Russia and Trump was over. The Israeli Secret Service over there had given information that's saying they were trying to bring bombs in through laptops into hard drives. And so that one particular meeting was about, hey man, we just received these reports about terrorists putting bombs inside the laptops in their hard drives, disguising it as a part of your hard drive. Be on the lookout for that. And it's like, people are like, oh, you shouldn't be giving up sensitive information like that. Why not? Why the fuck not? You're trying to help out someone else's safety or prevent something from happening. Like, why not share that information with other people?
Right.
So yeah, man, I'm just super fucking downer about it.
Well, you should be. I don't think enough people are being outraged about it. Again, like it just seems.
I don't see any.
It just seems like a little
blip.
Another thing.
Yeah.
Another thing. And it's I know they did some PR scrubbing before that, where it was just like, okay, Ariana Grande is going to be bad press for this and this.
Yeah.
Let's see how far we can push it back, and
Yeah, I mean, because there was, imagine last night being there, and there was, you don't know where your children are. Some of them went in groups together with another parents and things like that, and they were all separated.
Yeah, the video is like the parents all waiting at the bottom of these stairs while like kids are pouring out, and you're just like looking for your kid to make sure that they're
safe,
running out or whatever.
And
fucking nightmare.
Yeah, and again, like World Turtle Day is trending, so it's like, I don't know what's what's going to be done. Like that, I'm reading on here that Cannes film festival is on high alert, and they canceled their fireworks ceremony, because of loud bangs or whatever the fuck's going to happen. I don't know, but it's like,
what? How does that help?
I don't know. I don't know, but
do the fireworks if nobody blows up. Get you some fireworks.
Get you some.
You know what I mean?
Get you some
Celebrate.
Fireworks. Yeah.
Are they like not wanting to trigger people? Or?
I don't know. I don't know what's happening anymore, and it's.
Yeah, I guess if you heard the fireworks and you were like, or if you heard something and you're just like, oh, that's just the fireworks, and then it's a bomb.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. And it's,
I don't know the thinking behind that.
All of this shit is over religion. That's, they've been fighting about it for thousands of years, back and forth, about whose God is right or whose God is who, and what, you're supposed to do. And it's like, to me, you're not changing anybody's beliefs. This is going to keep going on. All you can do is try to prevent it. So it's just going to get fucking crazier and crazier.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I mean, the other story is sologamy. Have you heard of this?
No, what's that? What do we got for sologamy tonight?
I mean, just to kind of end on a different...
Sure.
A more important topic.
Absolutely.
I mean, higher up on the trending. Let's go with that, please. The trend of marrying yourself.
Oh, I'm sorry?
Single, probably ladies.
Yeah.
Mostly ladies. I don't see a guy doing it, but yeah, you have a whole ceremony just like a wedding. You get gifts and everything, and you just make a pledge to love yourself. To
Sologamy. And where did this start?
Sologamy. I don't. They've been doing it for a while in Britain, actually.
Really?
Yeah, and there's packages that they're selling. So you can get over there. Don't get killed. Yeah. You can get a travel package to go over there. You have your wedding, and they set it all up for you, and you invite your friends, and so it's big over there, but it's starting to spill over here.
Sure, sologamy.
Some really empowered, strong women are marrying themselves and making a pledge to, and there's nothing sad. There's nothing like sad or depressing about it. All. So it's a joyous thing. And
look, you're not blowing up shit. You're not having any terrorist attacks.
Exactly.
Look, if you're marrying yourself,
you're
good.
You're not hurting anybody.
Nah,
right?
You're not hurting anybody.
It is just a little sad. I feel
you're good on that.
You're good. Like you're not hurting anyone.
No.
Except
what's a little sologamy amongst friends?
Amongst you and your cats. You know what I mean?
What made you look up sologamy? Just out of curiosity.
I didn't. It was like trending.
Really?
I'm not kidding. Yesterday it was.
Sologamy was.
Sologamy.
And are they trying to pass this as something like?
No. It's just like it was more like a pop trend. It's not like a news trend, but it was more like in the on E or Entertainment Tonight or whatever, like that kind of trending.
Sure.
Where it's like the trend in marriage and love.
I like it.
You like it?
Yeah, you can't,
But then I'm wondering.
A divorce would be really easy, if you're divorcing yourself.
So would it be if you do meet someone, do you have to divorce yourself
I think you do.
Is it legally binding?
But again, I think it would be an easy divorce. I think it would be an easy divorce.
You think?
Yeah.
Splitting up the.
The judge just tells you to take a hard look in the mirror and then turn around. And then you're good.
Yeah.
Like, hey, say
it's just
say
another
goodbye
notch on the belt of like our crazy world.
Well, it's going into
a notch on the belt of people wanting whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah.
Now.
That's all it is.
And they want you to accept it.
Yeah. And they want another name for it. That's I'm a sologamist.
No, I'm not going to give you time to I'm not going to give you time to let that sink in. You better be okay with it now.
Yeah.
And don't you dare say one thing to offend me about it.
And accept my sologamy.
Accept my sologamy. Are you married? So the idea is that single women were getting like, are you married? And they were just like tired of it. So now they can say, imagine this at a party. Are you married? Yeah. Oh, to myself. You know what I mean? Like,
you're kidding.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
So they were going to wear a ring and everything. Again.
Real? So they're going
it's going to be the full thing. Like I said, wedding gifts, a ceremony, like the whole thing. Paperwork,
Paperwork.
You got to be held accountable to love yourself.
You really do. You really do.
Okay, because it's hard.
It is.
It's really hard. And especially when you're alone and depressed and single. It's hard.
Yeah. No, it's a tough slog.
It really is.
Or solog. It's a tough sologamy. Yeah. It
rolls right off the fucking
it really does.
tongue, doesn't it?
Do you get to have a cat in that or not? Do you get to keep a kitten?
Yes.
You do.
It's so as soon as you get, that's part of the tradition. You get the ring and then they hand you a cat and a candle.
Yeah.
And you're
a nice Yankee candle and you're on your way.
I think you might get a Yankee Candle loyalty card, actually. And they send you on your way. You get a couple punches in that. So you're already on your way to a free candle. And, and then you just, you really just, do you tell people?
Yeah, I don't know.
That you're married to yourself?
I don't know what you do in that case.
I really don't either. But, again, really important stuff. Hard-hitting news here, folks. For me, anyway.
Yeah. The sologamy.
I love that you were talking about your little news. And
we never talk about serious shit very often. This was one where I was just.
Well, you got to. Nobody else is. So.
This is one where I just felt, God damn it, man! Like kids.
You know.
It's kids and. Defenseless kids, and that's what's hit the hardest.
And it was like a nail bomb, so it's just like so
in the worst, most heinous way possible.
Like fucking
where you just don't know. And I guess seeing all the pictures this morning of all of the children who had died was just, again, going to see a concert of one of their favorite bands. I go to hundreds of concerts. So look, I'm sorry if we got serious today on Ross Patterson Revolution. You're like, fuck, I usually tune in because this is a comedy show and it's fucking funny. Today, I just, I didn't really feel like being fun, didn't find much humor in the day today.
Felt wrong.
Which is rare.
Yeah.
Is rare. It's not that it felt wrong. I just, I think addressing some of these things and, even as a comedian or an entertainer or whatever you want to label yourself as, you still have beliefs and things, and it's just sharing them, with other people. I guess that helps sometimes. Where you're like, man, this is a fucking downer. This one's a real bummer. This one,
yeah.
Not that the others weren't, because they were.
Yeah.
I mean, but I feel like we've talked about those on the other show, the sister show, Drinking Bros. Before, we've talked about those, and it's been the same stance on that as well, where it's just like, again, they were all, they're all ex-military, and they're all like, look, this is just going to keep continuing over and over and over and over and over. And it was like, 6-8 months ago, I was like, I still thought it was maybe it'll just be an isolated thing here and there. This is not anymore. Like, this is popping up every fucking 2 weeks.
And not to get back into it again, but it's a vicious cycle. So the more we get pissed, the more we try and do things, the more mad they get, the more vicious their attacks. And it's just like this cycle, right?
Yeah. And my
until you figure out.
I've held the same belief on it as well. Like, a lot of people said it started, when we attacked Iraq and shit like that. Like, I don't think we should have. I also don't care if those other countries, because look, the Middle East has been blowing itself up for years and years and years. I would have been fine with that continuing. Just don't fuck with our countries or other countries. Like, I don't care. You guys want to, duke it out over religions? Great. Have fucking fun. I don't think it's our job to police the world either.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be over in those goddamn places, and I don't want to lose any of our own troops in that shit. While other countries fight over religious beliefs, like, I could give two shits about that. So, With that being said, there was another story out of Britain, ironically today, which took over the number one slot on Twitter. That bumped the Manchester tragedy off of the number one ranking.
What?
And he is actually my revolutionary figure of the day, and that's Sir Roger Moore, James Bond.
Oh man.
Yeah, did 7 Bond movies. Died at 89 years old today. He was the first Bond that I saw as a kid, and I didn't know anything. I hadn't seen any of the older Bonds like my dad had.
Right.
And he had taken me to the theaters. It was like, we're going to go see the new James Bond movie.
Mm-hmm.
And so after watching, I was like, oh my God, this is fucking awesome. And he was like, yeah, Roger Moore was pretty good. And I was like, wait, what do you mean pretty good? And he was just like, well, I still like Sean Connery a little better, but Roger Moore's pretty good. And I was like, oh, there was other Bonds?
So you logged on with Roger Moore.
Logged on with Roger Moore. He was my first Bond.
And
then I went back and I was like, oh shit. And the thing I liked a lot about Roger Moore in particular was he always had a unique outlook on the Bond character itself. He always said how ridiculous it was, and he always tried to play it with humor and like a wry smile or a wink or the arching eyebrow.
Oh yeah,
because
that was his thing.
Well, his belief was, for a super secret spy, how does every bartender in the world know who James Bond is? Like, they're already giving him a martini, shaken, not stirred. If you know what James Bond drinks and you're a bartender all over the world, like, how does the rest of these governments not know who James Bond is?
Right.
So he always had that, unique look and outlook on playing James Bond.
I got you.
And it made it fun for me. So he was one of my favorites. I went after going back and rewatching it. I like Connery. I like the new one, obviously Daniel Craig.
I logged on with Timothy Dalton.
No way.
So that was my log on to Bond. And then
He was the only one I didn't like.
Are you serious?
Yes, I did not like Timothy Dalton.
So Rocketeer is one of my like
Your favorite movies?
Yeah. One of them, and he's like the best in that. And then Pierce Brosnan. So like that was my log on.
Sure.
And then I went back and watched Connery. So.
All right. Who was your favorite out of all of them?
I think your favorite is the one you log on with. So Dalton.
I switched.
I know that's weird.
It's
and Pierce Brosnan. I don't know.
Oh, Pierce Brosnan was fucking awesome too.
Yeah. So I like those two.
I've switched over the years.
Okay.
I've gone back and forth. Like I was Roger Moore, and then as I got older, and I was like, oh man, Connery was pimpy. Like I got like, cause Sean Connery, as you get older as a male, is one of those actors where you look back on and you were like, oh fuck, he was a real goddamn man. Yeah.
Pimpy.
And like a real man where you're like, I bet you.
Like he was
I bet you if you were in a
crew,
bar.
or like he was hitting on crew.
Yeah. Like, he wasn't molesting.
Not molesting, they were.
But he's one of those guys to me where if you were out drinking at a pub over there, like he'd probably knock somebody out in a bar. Like I genuinely believe
for sure.
Sean Connery would do that.
Yeah. And he's a big guy, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a big guy.
Yeah.
And then, I think Daniel Craig has done a fantastic job.
Yeah.
Like shit, he's pimpy as hell.
Yeah, I think he's killing it for sure.
He's great. And I enjoy all the new Bonds just as well as I did the fucking old Bonds.
Yeah.
Like that franchise is single-handedly stood up over time. Like I can't believe it.
I think it's.
I thought after the Dalton years, it was
over.
It was done.
I love that. I like the worst years.
It was
but
done. Well, Pierce Brosnan, I think, saved it.
Yeah, and that's
kind
of what it is. So it's that into that, and so what was I gonna say? It's like Wes Anderson movies. It's like whichever one the first one is that you see is like your favorite.
Okay.
So like, do you remember what the first one is?
Royal Tenenbaums, maybe.
Okay. Is that your favorite or no?
Yes, I would say so.
So my first one was Rushmore. It's not everyone's
fuck, I loved
favorite.
Rushmore.
Yeah, I loved it, but that's my favorite. Was the first one that I saw.
Yeah. Big fan of Rushmore.
And then no matter when people kind of Zissou is some people's because that was the first one that saw.
That is,
exactly.
That is definitely far down the list for me.
Totally, but it's like the first glimpse
that
you have in it.
That,
so I think the same is true probably about Bond or any other thing like that where it's like a really specific, like life-changing genre, right?
Yeah.
It's like the first time you experience it, that's going to be your most favorite.
Yeah.
So Timothy Dalton, was he the best? No, but it was like the first one that I saw.
It was your first.
Whatever.
Look, James, you're unique. You're special. And you keep proving that day after day to me.
Day after day.
Dalton.
I know. Isn't that the worst? I like the worst one.
Oh,
but Rocketeer, guys.
Yeah, Rocketeer.
I fucking love Rocketeer. That's Jennifer Connelly.
Yeah, look, you don't have to sell me on Jennifer Connelly. Big fan.
When she was like not super, super skinny.
Career Opportunities was every boy's fantasy when she was in that.
Okay.
Or was it Opportunity Knocks? Fuck. I'm terrible at this. It was one of those two. She was kidnapped and she was hiding inside the Walmart. Yeah, it was good. That was my introduction to Jennifer Connelly, and I was like, God damn.
No, I can't find it.
Nah.
Sorry, I can't talk to you and find it. Sorry.
Okay. But that was my first experience in the Jennifer Connelly world.
Well, what about Labyrinth? I mean,
was she in Labyrinth? Oh, you're right. God damn.
That's your first. Isn't that her first? There's one.
I think
before
I was too young. I think I was too young.
She was young in that though. She was a young girl in Labyrinth.
I just. But I was too. I wasn't thinking about girls in that way. I don't think at that point.
Oh, okay.
It was later on.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Career Opportunities. Look, we'll get killed for it. I'm sure as soon as the episode airs.
Well, this is the fun of it, right? The people at home can like scream at us, be like, "You stupid ass!"
Yeah,
but
you don't know it.
You don't know with the lights on you and the cameras. It's like hard to think sometimes. Okay, so it's like stuff that you're like, I know that, right?
Yeah. Well, we'll get him on the next show. We'll get him on the next show, James. I love you. Thanks for tuning in. Sorry if we got kind of serious today. It's kind of been a somber day.
Career Opportunities.
Nailed it. I got it.
20 years
for Ross
later.
Patterson, this is Jesse Wiseman. Thank you for watching the Ross Patterson Revolution, everybody. Just be good to one another today. Try it out. See how it feels. Take care.
Good night.